What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's doing good. So when I was mixing, I had this idea, I had this thought about what I do during the mixing process that kind of runs in the back of my head. I just wrote down a couple of things and I was like, you know what, let me just talk about those things. I called it 5 mixing principles. I don't know if they are principles, and mind all the stuff that I'm saying, it's my own philosophy of mixing. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, it's just the way how I process things when I mix. If you guys like it and enjoy it and you guys want to have a little bit of my thinking process when I mix, go for it. You might be able to catch a little one to gem. So I wrote 5 things down. The number one thing I wrote was mix is the past, now, and the future. Interesting. The way how I think about mix, I think about it from a perspective of the past decisions, the decisions that I'm making right now, and the future result that I'm looking to get. The reason why I say past, now, and future is that when sometimes we make things in the mix, we might tweak something, we might move EQ a certain way, compressor a certain way, we do things a certain way. Those decisions that we made in the past are affecting everything that we are hearing right now. And everything that is going to be the outcome of the song. The way how I do things, I try to remember as many moves or as many things that I do in the mix. So basically, you know how we have a whole bunch of tracks, reverbs, delays, effects, audio, every single track, whatever is there. Whatever moves I make, I try to remember what I did to make things sound a certain way. Obviously, I'm not going to remember 100%, but I'm trying to remember as much to understand why I'm in the place how I am. And let me give you an example of why it is important. I'm going to give you a good example on the master bus, because master bus is one of those things that sometimes people dial something in and they just forget about it. They don't tweak it. They just like, oh, let it be this, and let me just mix into it and let me figure it out. But what I'm saying is that if you have a certain type of, let's say you dial certain settings on your master bus, and as you mix into it, things are getting louder and louder, and the kicks, you're pushing the kicks, the low end, and all this stuff, everything is being brought up in the mix. If you're squashed up your master bus, let's say you have a compressor on it, let's say like a SSL G bus or something. You have a G bus on it, and you just keep pushing, pushing, pushing. At some point, you might feel like, you're not getting enough kick, you're not getting the right dynamics, you're not getting whatever you want to get. But you forget that you have a compressor, or like not even forget, you don't pay attention to your settings that you had in the beginning. You're gonna start making decisions, adding more transient or on the kick, or you turning it up, or you're doing things that don't need to be done, but you're doing them because you have something that is stopping you from making the right decision. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm saying. All the decisions, past, now, and future, they have to be in the back of your head at all times, or in the back of my head, because that's the way how I do things and how my brain thinks. When something is not hitting the way how I want it to hit, I would dial back, because I'm like, you know what? There's probably something in the past, or like the decision that I've made that is not making it punch a certain way. But that's just an example. So that's one of them. The mixed buses move with the record. So that kind of relates to what I just said right now. Always tweak your mix buses. Always tweak your settings. It doesn't only relate to the mix bus. It relates to every single thing. If you're tweaking the instrument, you're tweaking the song, whatever you're tweaking, it's not like you just make a decision once and you forget about it. Like, it always has to be tweaked. Open the EQ, tweak it. Go to something else, tweak it. Go to something else, tweak it. Open something else, tweak it. Like, it's always about just opening and making sure that things are in a good place. It's not, look, again, is it right or is it wrong? I don't know. This is the way how I do things. I like to tweak all the time. Always be aware of the decisions that you make. Always open up, whatever you have. Any type of plugin. Sometimes just getting rid of stuff works. And not overdoing things is important, but I'm gonna mention that a little bit later. Yeah, but basically what I'm saying, Always remember that your mix buses, your song, your other buses, they always should move. They always should move with the song because they are directing where the record is going. If you like to just do it one way and you start in here and this is where you're going and you want it to be there, there's nothing wrong with it. You can do it that way as well. I used to do it that way. But the reason why I'm saying all that is because I'm definitely getting much better results when I let everything move along as I do it instead of trying it to steer me into the direction that it wants to go. Because remember, at the end of the day, we are the captain of this boat when we mix. So we want to use the tools in a way where we are steering the direction of the sound with the tools instead of the tools are steering us, which means that we base all of the decisions of the tools that we don't want to change the settings for too, I guess, if that makes sense. But that's kind of another thing that I wanted to mention. Number 3. So this one is kind of interesting. Less is more only if more is less. Okay, so let me say it one more time. Less is more only if more is less. So I don't know, it came to me as I was mixing, but let me explain it real quick. What do I mean by saying that? Because when you hear it for the first time, it doesn't make any sense. But it makes sense when you hear what I'm about to say. Use less processing on things if you start to feel that the more you are adding, it feels like it's less. And when I say less, I mean the less of a mix, less of a sound, less of the dynamics, less of anything that you want it to be. Nowadays, we probably have unlimited amount of plugins. I have so many plugins, and I probably only use like 7% of the plugins that I have. And I've been buying them through the years. I have plugins that I bought for like $10, $20, or whatever the price was. I just bought them because they were on sale, and then I tried it once. I'm like, oh, it's cool, and I just let it be. It's good to have it. I might use it at some point, but the plugins that I use all the time are like my go-to, and I use them all the time because I know exactly what they do and how they sound. But going back to what I was saying, you have to use less when you feel that when you add more stuff, you having less of a song or less of a mix. It's very important because, as I'm saying, if we overdo things, we start to lose the traction of what we really want. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely plugins that are good when you apply them, and they give you more punch, they give you more clarity, they give you whatever they give you. So there's definitely plugins that having probably most of the time is going to help, but there's just certain plugins that if you do too much with it, it might take too much space in the mid-range, and all of a sudden you have like this big frequency that is taking the space here, and you don't have any more space here, but it's because you added something that gave you less, right? You added something that gave you less space in the mix. So it makes sense, right? Less is more when more is less. Philosophy. Number 4, very important thing, and I think we all know it. It's not the rocket science what I'm about to say, but take a break. As simple as it is, as simple as it sounds, when you feel that your ears are tired, just take a break. And I am guilty of that sometimes when I work on the songs and I'm like, I know my ears are tired, but I'm like, let me push a little bit more. I know I can finish it today. And then I just started making stupid decisions. And I just make decisions that I listen to the next day and I'm like, I messed up. And I have to go back to the previous mix. It happened to me multiple of times when, I'm trying to be perfectionist when I already know something feels good. And then when my ears are tired, I start to make decisions that don't make sense from perspective of how I want it to feel. And again, when I make those decisions, it's not like I'm completely messing up the mix and it sounds terrible and all that stuff. It still sounds good. It's just not good the way how I wanted it to be, right? So at some point when you already have the proper mix and everything, when it feels it's in a good place and your ears are tired, just let it be. Listen to it the next day. If it still feels good after, good. If you got to touch up a 1-2, at least you're going to do it on fresh ears. Don't do it on tired ears. And number 5, I'm also guilty of that. Now, I think a lot of us are. Any creative person might be a little bit of that. But the thing number 5 is don't be delusional, I feel like sometimes when it comes to mixing, because it's such a personal experience, such a personal expression too, right? When we mix, sometimes we just get a little bit too delusional about our own work. And I do try to stay away from delusions. They definitely come every now and then. It is something that is hard to avoid, especially dealing with the creative stuff. And you know, sometimes delusions are good, sometimes delusions are bad. But when we mix, we have to think from an outside perspective, right? Because everybody gonna have their own opinion about things, right? But it's also about average ear or average person that hears something. So if we have multiple people that tell us something and we don't want to listen, it's probably because we are delusional, or maybe because we are very, very right about the decisions that we made. We will never know, yes or no. But that's another thing why I want to mention it. Don't be delusional when it comes to the mix. And I think that's all. I got 5. It's Saturday. I'm gonna go home. I'm tired already. I wanted to do a quick video before I leave, so hopefully I can get some good stuff out of that. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.